How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast that knows things, Epilogue
and
episode.
drinks things, apparently.
And drinks things.
Knows and drinks things, yeah, sorry. Too late. Not really, but the podcast that drinks and knows things. I'm Ben, I'm with Luke and Glenn. We're in our Epilogue, spoiler-free or spoiler-abound episode, anything's allowed. We are talking about guest right. We just talked yesterday, for the podcast listeners, about the Red Wedding and everything, so felt it was a right conversation to have now about what the guest right means, what it is, and what the fuck just happened. So, Luke, take it away.
Sure. So guest right, obviously, if you're brought in as a guest to someone's house, you feel like it's pretty reasonable to think, oh, they're not going to kill me because I have come into their house. It's a protection that, hey, you are within...
You are a guest.
Our guestmanship.
The guest of honor.
You are the guest of honor. And we're not going to invite you inside and slit your throats. That's kind of the real basis of it.
Come
and
on in, guess.
We're going to share our food with you,
The
and
fruits.
we're going to share our fruits with you as well, if you have any, lemon trees and all that, which is a big debate. But we'll get there. The podcast that knows, drinks, and drinks things again. I had Tron. Very, very well said. And so the guest right, I kind of referenced it in our episode that we just did. Walder Frey calls out, I'm basically doing this. I'm offering you guys hospitality and protection in, the sight of the Seven. And I just think it's funny that he's like being as blunt about this as I know this is a really treacherous act.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We're going to keep flying in the face of danger and evil anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I get the feeling that Walder doesn't attune much to the gods. He's like, I have fucking how many kids and how many grandkids. I have my legacy. I have my family in order, but I've been shunned by everybody. So the gods really might not.
Well, if he was a decent fucking guy ever, he wouldn't be fucking shunned.
Agreed.
The late Walder Frey.
Agreed. Oh, no, I'm not. No disagreement here.
In his
mind.
Sure.
He does.
He's just a piece of shit.
He is. Yeah. He's done what he's supposed to do. He's upped his family, but he still gets shunned. And so this is a way to protect himself. He's got the Tywin stamp of approval. He's set. He's fucking set. And he has River Run.
He has the Roose stamp of approval. There are no fingerprints from Tywin on this. He was so...
Bullshit.
No. So Tywin did everything he could to make sure that it couldn't be tracked back to him. He spoke directly to Roose. So he's always a step beyond. Like he's got buffer zones.
When was it said that? Because I know
Tywin doesn't even actually admit to being involved to Tyrion.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. I guess I'm.
My point being,
I guess I'm going from Tyrion's perspective of
he knows, he knows.
Yeah,
but there's no actual line to say, yeah, Tywin's the one that really called this shot. No, it's Roose Bolton working with Walder Frey is really like on paper what you could find. I think.
Fair enough. So looking over to the chat, see if there's stuff. Living My Rhapsody says there was a tradition like that where I come from. People used to house baked bread and salt. Okay. I'm just reading like.
Well, she lives in Westeros.
Okay.
I mean, that's what DA say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And
So basically, you got to eat.
So
As the guest, you got to eat the foods and basically be a guest.
So
right?
the fallout from the Red Wedding is huge. Obviously, there's a big army that's essentially not in the field anymore, right? Mm-hmm. But if we're talking only about guest right, I think we have to start jumping pretty far ahead in the story to other instances where this is kind of brought into question or people are deliberately going against that.
Violations,
if you will.
I got them pulled up if you want.
You got them pulled up? The two that I was thinking of are one's show-based and one's book-based. The first one, show-based, is Season 7, Episode 1, Arya Stark acting as Walder Frey. It's a little different because she's playing a part.
The host.
She's playing the host, and it's a little different on that, but I feel like it still kind of applies. And then there's also, in the books, there is Frey Pies.
Yeah. Yeah, now the Frey Prize,
it's somewat consolidated.
But he didn't, but here's the thing, Walder Manley didn't actually violate guest rights.
Wyman
Manley, fine. He didn't violate guest rights because he'd already given the parting gift and sent them on their way. His oath or his agreement to the rights was done by that point. Then they were killed. Then they were caught en route to Winterfell, killed, and baked into pies. So Merrily didn't violate guest rights. You know, he makes the joke about the Rat King. And
the Rat King is the historical.
The Rat Cook.
Yeah. Or
Rat
the Rat Cook,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the first one that they mention as a violation.
Can you read a little bit about the Rat Cook just for the kids at home?
The Rat Cook, a legendary figure who allegedly lived centuries ago, who killed the son of the king while they were guests at the Night Fort. He then baked the flesh of the king's son into a meat pie and served it back to his own father, who unwittingly enjoyed it so much that he asked for a second piece.
Let's play two.
The gods were not offended by the murder, nor even by the cooking of the son into the pie, but for violating the protection of guest right, as the laws of hospitality are sacred above all others.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, in book-wise, just timeline, because we learned this story when Bran's at the Night Fort with Mira and Jojen.
Right.
Does this actually happen before the Red Wedding, or does it happen right after? Like
For book chronology?
Book chronology. That's what I'm trying to.
Do we hear this story before the Red Wedding? I don't think so. I think it's one of those.
Like right after.
I don't know. It may have been before. I think it's after.
Okay.
I think because the Red Wedding is. I'm just thinking like I'm kind of in that spot of the book, and I don't think Bran has gone through the wall yet where I'm at.
Okay.
So I feel like it's after, but I'm okay with being wrong if that's true. So what's another instance of breaking guest right?
Do you want me to just read one of them, or just run through them? Or?
Run through them, and then we'll see if
whichever ones stick.
Yeah.
It's like, although few are aware of what really happened, Jaime Lannister violated a guest right when he attempted to kill Bran Stark.
Yeah.
By pushing him off the tower.
I think that one's maybe a little bit debatable, but
and then Catelyn Stark.
I think so.
I guess it'd be a violation when she accuses Tyrion. Basically, whoever the assassin was, that'd be a violation as well, is how they put it.
In the Crossroads?
No, the person who attempted the Bran's life violated the guest
Tyrion was a
rights.
guest at their house whenever the king came.
So per Catelyn's perspective, Tyrion is the one that violated guest rights.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
She believes that he violated the guest right.
Okay. Yep.
And that's just kind of like a side one, because very few realize that Jaime Lannister was the one that violated the guest right.
And very few realize that he did send his regards in the show, but did not in the books.
Yes.
All right. Next one, the mutiny at Craster's Keep.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
The Red Wedding. I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I don't know anything about the Red Wedding.
The Hound beats up the farmer who let him and Arya Stark stay in his house. Takes his money. The Hound had earlier remarked that guest right don't mean much anymore.
Yeah, since the twins.
Lud Whitehill breaks guest right when, after inviting Lord Roderick Forrester, Lady Eliza Forrester, and either Duncan Tuttle or Sir Royland Decor.
This is from the game.
Point.
This is the Telltale game.
Oh.
That's exactly what it is. I was like, Royland, the Forrester?
Yeah.
Whitehill?
I was like, this is deep. I'm like, this
House Forrester?
This sounds somewhat familiar because we did one playthrough of it.
Yeah.
Basically,
I wouldn't mind doing a live stream
That'd be
playthrough
fun.
of that. That'd be fun.
They
With all
discuss-
four of us trying to make decisions.
Yeah.
they discuss the
You
release
get first, second, third.
of Ryan Forster and offering them bread and salt.
So we know that there's basically no way
Blood
around this
wounds
in the story
Ryan
now.
and threatens to
canon.
have Roderick and his guests killed, with his soldiers ready to kill them with crossbows at any second.
That game does do a good job. That is pretty well fit into the story.
I want to see one character, like, I forget the end, so I want to see one live character pop up in like season 8. Just a random, just whoever from the game, from that family, just, I'm here. Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
And basically the next one is the Telltale game series, where they kind of go through like the decisions of Asher Forrester and like all that. So I'm not going to dive deep into that. It's just like the Telltale game. Next one, when Jon Snow comes to treat with King Beyond the Wall Mance Rayder during the Battle of Castle Black, Mance shares food and drink with him and they even toast those on both sides who have fell in the heavy fighting the night before. Mance then sees John eyeing a cooking knife and quickly deduces that John's real reason for coming was to assassinate Mance.
Yeah, but he didn't violate. It
was definitely like he called him out, like, don't fucking do it. And he caught him in the thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, fair.
As Glenn would say, yeah.
Was nice.
The last one they have here is Ilaria Sand and the Sand Snakes murder Marcella Baratheon as revenge for the death of Oberyn Martell, even though Marcella was an innocent girl who had nothing to do with Oberyn's fate. It was revenge against her mother, Cersei Lannister, and was living in Dorne under the protection of Prince Doran Martell as his ward.
In fairness to the defense of that, she was already sent on her way with her uncle father.
So no longer under
guest right when she died. Now, granted,
I think I could agree with that.
It's a touchy one because she was kissed and sent on her way, and that's what ended up killing her.
She had nothing to do with.
No, she didn't. I mean, it's a dick move.
Right.
Dick move. Dick move.
Come on, Alaria.
But is it violation of guest rights?
I don't know if I agree with that one.
That's debatable. So, all right. So, do we want to? Because the only other really real instance we have is from Bookwise and every show. I mean, we just ran through them. I was gonna say the the Manderly, not Walder, Wyman, Manderly thing. That's kind of the most known one, at least the one that I'm most familiar with. And like I said, guest right of it for it was he didn't really kill him under guest right. He made sure to send him on their way, so guest right wasn't any longer. Whose is a more ethical and right way to do it? I would say the phrase or the Manderlys. I mean, which one, if you give him the choice, would you sit and suffer the phrase like Manderly did, or would you just fucking ham it like Frey did?
You're picking a full family slaughter or forceful cannibalism.
I'm saying take 3. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
I don't want to choose. I don't really think either are anywhere close to being moral or ethical.
What's the question?
So, who did it right, or the least unethical way? Walder Frey murdering the Starks at the Red Wedding under guest right, or Manderly giving guest right all the way through, sending them on their way, and then murdering them and baking them into pies?
So which one's worse, you're saying? Or?
Which one would you be more apt to do? I guess this is where I'm going with.
Probably the Manderly when they're outside of guest right, I guess.
But, the reason I said it, because think about it with Manderly, basically he had to start the phrase calling him out, saying, oh yeah, your son, he was a traitor and all this, and had to suffer through all their insults, all their pain, or all their bullshit, and then, take your revenge, or just Walder Frey style of they're bowing their knee, they're saying sorry, but fuck you, you did me wrong, they're both they're both insulting, both being dicks to you. I don't know. The Walder Frey way, it's like it's fucked, but it's more efficient. You
don't have to hire a cook necessarily,
a butcher.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean the Manderly way is not a bad. It's more ethical.
No, they're definitely both pretty bad. It's not a bad. It's a bad choice either way.
It's just like the one's not technically in violation of guest right, and the other one is.
I think I would frown on cannibalism more so than because you're still murdering people either way. The cannibalism, I think, is what takes it to another level because there are no gods.
Yeah, this is true.
So it's like when
there's only one true God, and that God is death.
When Cartman from South Park, they had the chili cook-off, and he killed
the Chili Con Carnival.
Chili Con Carnival.
the trivia team of Tits and Wine. That's what Glenn and I were at the
nice.
With Mackenzie Cohen. Mac on I forget what her actual Twitter handle is, but she joined our team at 10 for 10 in the TV round. But we didn't put any points on the questions, so we didn't get any credit. But we checked with the guy the next day. We were like, who won? And he was like, there was one team that got a perfect score. He said a team name, and it was like, that wasn't our team name. I'm pretty sure we got them all right. And so he was like going through them, like just quickly, like flipping through the list of questions, and we were like on the spot answering them again. He's like, there was one team that did pretty well, but didn't do the scoring correctly. Right. So we got 0 points, but a perfect paper.
I don't think we understood the way to do it. Like, you had to pick your own points.
After the first 2 rounds of all book stuff, that was pretty rough.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, though.
The
a lot
book
of
stuff was pretty tough.
That was pretty tough.
So, all right, I'm going to throw open the chat for about 1 minute here. Any thoughts on Guest Right? I know we've kind of tried to type or check in with you guys. Give us an idea of anything else we missed, what you want to talk about. If not, we will end the stream here. I think unless anybody else has anything.
Yeah, the only other thing, there's just on this page that I'm looking at, there's just a lot. It goes through like the violations from the book, but then it just has like kind of examples in real life, and there's like stuff from like Greek mythology and the Bible, and
there was a Scottish king.
The Scottish Black Wedding, I think is a lot of where Gurm has pulled this specifically from. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a historically precedented type event, and it's just rough.
Exactly. So, nothing coming up in the chat. I think we're past my delay here. So, right then and there, Rose and Littlefinger. I'm trying to figure out what...
Roz and Littlefinger?
Roz and Littlefinger. Does that fall under Guest Right?
That she got killed by Joffrey?
Yeah, under his protection, under... That's a tough one, because it's more of a, you're in the house,
whores,
you're working...
That's just another bag of worms for whores, because...
Yeah.
Unless you're a funny har.
Funny har. All right, so gonna end it here. Make sure you join us next week for our Season 10 Spectacular... Or Season 3...
Season 10? We're starting in Season 10, folks.
Episode 10.
We have the pilots for Season 10.
Episode 10 Spectacular. There we go. We'll be covering everything from beginning to end of the season, plus the show recap. So join us again on iTunes, on Twitter, on YouTube. We're going to live stream this. This is a lot of fun, so make sure you tune into our YouTube page. But make sure to check our Twitter, because we could give you a time, but we're probably going to be wrong.
We're not going to hit it.
So
yeah,
just keep an eye on Twitter.
Subscribe on YouTube so that you'll get the notification when we go live, and I'll try to continue to update on Twitter as we get closer and closer, and keep pushing it back as needed.
Exactly. So until next time,
don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
And as always, please stay the fuck imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.